Air India crash report. Varun Grover criticizes West's coverage. Gaurav Taneja defends pilots. On July 12, a preliminary 15-page report on the crash of Air India flight AI-171 was made public by India's Aircraft Accident Investigation Bureau AAIB. The document offered a forensic reconstruction of the June 12 disaster. However, the aviation report presented no conclusions, no blame, just facts, timings, and data. Meanwhile, several of the most influential newsrooms in the West had already published their own, albeit fictional, reports. Amid this, filmmaker, comedian and screenwriter Varun Grover and former pilot Gaurav Taneja, also known as Flying Beast, slammed West's coverage of the crash. Varun Grover was among the many internet users who expressed displeasure over Western media's coverage of the initial crash report. The screenwriter took to X and wrote, "Chilling for Boeing. White man will always stand with the white man. Shame. Take a look's hilling for Boeing. White man will always stand with the white man. Shame. https://t.co.uk/blpxml unspecified currency a unspecified currency degree a unspecified currency pound. Varun Grover, July 12, 2025. Gaurav Taneja also expressed his frustration over the findings in the preliminary report on X. He posted, "As expected, blame the deceased pilots. They can't come back to defend themselves. Boeing has a lot of questions to answer. BBC already gave Boeing a clean chit. Air India flight crash. As expected, blame the deceased pilots. They can't come back to defend themselves. Boeing has a lot of questions to answer. BBC already gave Boeing a clean chit. Air India flight crash. Gaurav Taneja, Flying Beast 320, July 12, 2025. How did Western media cover Air India crash report? The BBC, on Saturday, ran a breaking banner declaring Air India crash pilot cut off fuel to engines, no fault with plane. Reuters followed with its own take, noting that the fuel switches were moved but omitting the key detail that the cause remains undetermined. CNN weighed in by quoting analysts who pointed to a possible manual error and branded the incident a catastrophic lapse in cockpit protocol, a phrase absent from the official report. An American magazine, Barron's, kept it simpler, mentioning that the fuel switch had a locking mechanism and no mechanical defect was found, neatly implying that one of the pilots must have done it. Al Jazeera headline: Fuel switches cut off just before deadly Air India crash, early report says, while adding in the subtext that accidental movement is highly unlikely, citing experts. True to style, the New York Post amped up the drama, quoting aviation commentators who strongly suspect cockpit error. Across outlets, the narrative converged: the plane was fine, the airline was fine, so it had to be the pilots. What were the initial findings of the Air India crash report? The Boeing 7878, operating as Air India flight AI-171 to London Gatwick, had reached an airspeed of 180 knots after takeoff. Just 65 seconds into the roll, the fuel cut-off switches for both engines shifted almost simultaneously from run to cut-off within a single second. This led to a sharp drop in both engines' core speeds, signaling a complete loss of power. The cockpit voice recorder transcript captures the crew's confusion, with one pilot asking, "Why did you cut off?" and the other replying, "I did not do so." Latest blogs.